The metal floors of the Veltari command ship rang with heavy footsteps. Admiral Vextel walked slowly through the long hallway, his thick claws clicking against the floor with each step. His green scales caught the light from the ceiling panels. Above, other Veltari soldiers moved out of his way quickly. They knew better than to block the path of their most feared. Admiral Vextel entered the main command room. The walls showed star maps from across the galaxy. Red dots marked every world under Veltari control. There were thousands of them. For 800 years the Veltari Empire had grown bigger and stronger. They had beaten every enemy. That had made slaves of entire species. Admiral called out Subcommander Extra. She was smaller than Vextel, but just as deadly. Her yellow eyes gleamed as she spoke. "We have news from the Outer Rim." "Tell me," Vextel said. He did not look at her. His eyes stayed on the star map. "A new species, sir. They call themselves humans. They come from a small blue world called Earth. Our scouts found them 3 days ago." Vextel finally turned around. "Another primitive race." "Yes, Admiral. They have only just learned to travel between stars. Their ships are slow and weak. Their weapons are basic. They have no shields worth talking about." Other officers in the room began to laugh. One of them, a young soldier named Hexcore, spoke up. "How many ships do they have?" "Our scouts counted maybe 50 ships in total. All of them are small, nothing bigger than our escort vessels." The laughter got louder. Vextel smiled, showing his sharp teeth. 50 ships. We have 50,000 ships in this fleet alone. "Should we destroy them now?" Admiral asked Kexra. "No," Vextel said. "Send them the usual message first. Give them a chance to surrender. It is more fun when they try to fight back first." Far across the galaxy, Captain Doyan stood on the bridge of the U's Resilience. The ship was not big or beautiful like the alien vessels they had just met. It was built for work, not war. Metal plates covered the hull. The engines made noise when they ran, but it was human-made, and Doyan was proud of it. Captain called Navigator Mina from her station. "The alien ship is sending us a message." "Put it on screen," Doyan said. The main screen flickered. The face of Subcommander Kexra appeared. Her reptile features looked cold and cruel. When she spoke, her voice was filled with pride. "Humans of Earth," she began, "I am Kextra of the Veltari Empire. You have entered space that belongs to us. Your species is now under our rule." Communications Officer Wujin looked at Doyan with wide eyes. "Sir, should I record this?" "Yes," Doyan said quietly. "Keep recording." Kexra continued speaking. "You have 2 choices. First, you can surrender now. Give us your ships. Give us your world. We will let some of you live as our servants. Second, you can try to fight us. If you choose to fight, we will destroy every human in the galaxy." The bridge went silent. Chief Engineer Hannah stopped working at her station. Even the ship's computer seemed to quiet down. "You have one of your Earth days to decide," Kexra said. "Choose wisely. The Veltari Empire has conquered 847 species. You would be number 848. The message ended. The screen went black. Doyan looked around at his crew. They were all young people from Earth. Mina was only 25. Wujin was 27. Hannah was 30. They had never been in a real fight before. They had never seen war. Captain Mina said softly, "What do we do?" Doyan thought for a moment. He remembered his training back on Earth. He remembered the stories his grandfather told him about old wars. He remembered why humans had built these ships in the first place. Not to run away from trouble. Not to hide when things got hard. "Wujin," he said. "Open a channel back to them." "Yes, sir." The screen showed Kexra again. She looked bored, like she had done this many times before. "Have you made your choice, human?" she asked. Doyan stepped forward. He looked straight into her yellow eyes. "Yes, we have." "Good. You choose to surrender then?" "No," Doyan said. His voice was calm but firm. "We choose option 3. Kexra head tilted to one side. "Option 3. There is no option 3. "Yes, there is," Dojan said. "Option 3 is go to hell." For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Kexra began to laugh. It was a harsh sound, like metal scraping against stone. "You find this funny?" Doyan asked. "Very funny," Kexra said. "A primitive species with 50 ships thinks it can fight the Veltari Empire." "Yes, that is very funny." "We'll see how funny it is," Doyan said. Kexra stopped laughing. "You are serious? You actually choose to fight us? Dead serious? Then you have chosen death for your entire species. We will come to your Earth. We will burn your cities. We will kill every human man, woman, and child. You will wish you had surrendered." "Maybe," Dojan said. "But you'll remember us long after we're gone." "No," Kexra said. "We will forget you in a week, just like we forgot all the others." The transmission ended. Wujin turned to Doyan. "Sir, should I send a message to Earth Command?" "Yes, tell them we're at war." Back on the Veltari command ship, the officers were still laughing. Admiral Vextel watched the recording of Dojan's message again. "Brave little creatures," he said. "I almost feel bad for them." "Should we attack now?" Admiral asked Kexra. "No rush," Vextel said. "Let them prepare. Let them build more ships. Let them gather their armies. It will make the victory more satisfying." "How long should we wait?" 1 month. Give them 1 month to get ready. Then we attack with everything we have. I want to make an example of these humans. I want the galaxy to see what happens when someone says no to the Empire. The other officers nodded. They had done this before. They knew how it would end. The humans would fight hard for a few days. Then they would break. Then they would beg for mercy. Then they would die. What the Veltari did not know was that they had just made the biggest mistake in the history of their empire. They thought they were fighting another weak species. They thought this would be easy. They were wrong. Humans were different. Humans did not break when things got hard. They got harder. They did not beg when they were losing. They fought until the very end. And they never ever forgot their enemies. The Veltari had conquered 847 species, but they had never fought humans before. They were about to learn why that mattered. The war was coming, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. Captain Doyen's message reached Earth in 3 days. The words were simple, but they changed everything. We are at war. President Sun Wu sat in her office in Geneva. She had been president for 2 years. She had dealt with many problems. Food, shortages, climate change, trade disputes between countries, but never this, never war with aliens. How long do we have? She asked General Ji Wu. 1 month. Maybe less. Our scouts report a massive fleet moving toward our system. How big? Bigger than anything we have ever seen. Thousands of ships. Maybe tens of thousands. President Sun Wu looked out her window. People walked on the streets below. Children played in parks. They had no idea their world was about to change forever. What are our options? She asked. We fight, said General Ji Wu, or we die. Those are the only choices. Yes, Madam President. The aliens made that clear. They do not take prisoners. They do not make deals. They destroy or they enslave. President Sun Wu stood up. She had made hard decisions before, but this was different. This was about the survival of every human being. Then we fight, she said. Send out the call. Emergency session of the World Council. Full military mobilization. Everything we have. Within hours, the message went out to every country on Earth. The response was instant. Old enemies became allies. Rich nations shared technology with poor ones. Scientists worked together across all borders. In Detroit, car factories stopped making cars. They started making parts for spaceships. In Seoul, electronics companies stopped making phones. They started making weapons. In Mumbai, software engineers stopped writing apps. They started writing code for military computers. Engineer worked 18 hours a day in his lab in Tokyo. His team had one job: make human ships stronger and faster. They had only weeks to do what should take years. The aliens have better technology, he told his team. But we have something they do not have. What? Asked his assistant. Desperation. Desperate people work miracles. Kung Su was right. In 3 weeks, his team created new engine designs. They built better weapons. They invented new types of armor. It was not as good as alien technology, but it was human technology, and humans knew how to use it. Chief Engineer Hannah returned to Earth with Captain Doyon. She could not believe what she saw. The planet looked different. Space stations were being built in orbit. New ships launched every day. The sky was full of human vessels. How did they do this so fast? She asked. Fear, said Doyon. Fear makes people do impossible things. Military strategist Ji Wu worked in the Pentagon. Her job was to figure out how to fight the aliens. She studied every battle in human history. She read about every war. She looked for patterns. What did you find? Asked President Sun Wu. The aliens always fight the same way, Ji Wu said. They use overwhelming force. They attack head-on. They expect the enemy to break and run. Will that work against us? Only if we fight like everyone else fought. But we are not everyone else. We are humans. What makes us different? Ji Wu smiled. It was not a happy smile. Humans do not break. When things get bad, we get angry. When we get angry, we get creative. When we get creative, we win. The first alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They were huge. Each one was bigger than the largest human city. They moved slowly toward Earth like a black cloud. Admiral Vextel stood on the bridge of his flagship. He expected to see human ships running away. Instead, he saw them moving forward. Toward his fleet, sir, said his officer. The humans up. Approaching us. How many ships? 200, maybe more. Vextel laughed. 200 ships against 50,000. They really are insane. But as the human ships got closer, something felt wrong. They were not flying in formation like proper military ships. They spread out in all directions. Some flew high. Some flew low. Some spun around in circles. What are they doing? Asked Sub-Commander Kexra. I do not know, said Vextel. It makes no sense. The human ships opened fire. But they did not aim at the alien warships. They aimed at empty space. Explosions bloomed in the darkness. It looked like fireworks. Are they celebrating? Asked one alien officer. Then the mines exploded. The humans had filled space with hidden explosives. When the alien ships flew through the area, the mines went off. Dozens of alien vessels took damage. Some exploded completely. Impossible, shouted Vextel. How did they know where we would fly? Captain Doyon watched from his command ship. The first part of the plan had worked. Now came the hard part. All ships, he said into his radio. Execute chaos protocol. The human ships scattered in every direction. They flew in patterns that made no sense. They attacked from impossible angles. They used weapons the aliens had never seen before. One human ship flew straight at an alien battleship. The aliens thought it would crash. Instead, it split into 10 smaller ships. Each one attacked a different target. Another human ship looked like it was running away. When the aliens chased it, it led them into an asteroid field. Hidden human gunners opened fire from the rocks. "This is not how space battles work," shouted Kextra. "Tell that to the humans," said Vextal. The battle lasted for 6 hours. When it ended, the aliens had lost 300 ships. The humans had lost 50. It should have been impossible. The aliens had better weapons, better armor, better shields, but they did not have better tactics. They did not have human creativity. They did not have human stubbornness. Vextal stared at the wreckage floating in space. Half of it was alien ships. "Sir," said his communications officer. "Message from the High Command. They want a report." "What do I tell them?" "The truth, sir." Vextal thought about it. How could he explain this? How could he tell his superiors that humans had made fools of the mighty Veltari fleet? "Tell them we have encountered unexpected resistance," he said finally. "Should we retreat, sir?" "No. Send for more ships. Send for the entire Second Fleet. We will crush these humans if it takes our entire military." But deep inside, Vex felt something he had never felt before in 800 years of conquest. He felt worried. The humans had not fought like other species. They had not tried to match alien strength with strength. Instead, they had used their weaknesses as weapons. They had turned chaos into strategy, and they were just getting started. On Earth, President Sunwoo watched the battle reports. The humans had won the first fight. But more alien ships were coming. Many more. "How long until they arrive?" she asked. "To 2 weeks, said General Ji Woo. "Then we have 2 weeks to get ready for round 2. The awakening had begun. Humanity was learning how to fight a galactic war, and they were learning fast. 6 months had passed since the first battle. The galaxy was starting to notice something strange. The Veltari Empire was having trouble with a small species called humans. Admiral Vextal no longer slept well. Every night, he had the same dream. Human ships appeared from nowhere. They attacked in ways that made no sense. They never gave up. They never retreated, even when they were outnumbered 100 to 1. "Sir," said Sub-Commander Kextra, "we have lost another supply convoy. Where the Kepler system, 20 cargo ships, gone." "How many human ships attacked them?" 3. Vextal slammed his fist on the table. 3 ships destroyed 20 of ours." "Yes, sir. The humans used something new. They call it ramming speed." "What does that mean?" "They crashed their ships into ours on purpose. Their ships exploded, but they took our ships with them." Vextal stared at her. "They killed themselves to hurt us." "Yes, sir." The humans seemed to think trading 1 life for 10 enemy lives is a good deal. This was something new. In 800 years of conquest, the Veltari had never fought an enemy that chose death over defeat. Other species surrendered when the fighting got too hard. Humans got more dangerous. Captain Do Yoon, now admiral of the human fleet, stood in his new command center on Lunar Base. The moon had been turned into a giant fortress. Weapons pointed in every direction. Ships launched and landed every few minutes. "Admiral," called Supply Officer Suman, "the Hydra shipyards are ready." Do-Yan smiled. The Hydra protocol was his idea. For every human ship the aliens destroyed, 2 new ones were built. The aliens thought they were winning because they killed more humans. They did not understand that humans could build ships faster than aliens could destroy them. "How many ships this week?" asked Do-Yan. 400, said Soman. "Next week, we will build 500. "Good. And the Special Projects Taehoon's team is ready. The Silent Death Squad has volunteers from every nation on Earth." Taehoon used to be a mining engineer. He knew how to work in dangerous places. He knew how to use explosives. Most importantly, he knew how to be patient. Now he led the most feared unit in human military. They did not fight in space battles. They did something worse. They sneaked onto alien ships. They sabotaged alien bases. They appeared in places where aliens thought they were safe. "Target acquired," Taehoon whispered into his radio. He floated in space near a huge Veltari battleship. His team of 12 humans drifted around him like ghosts. They wore special suits that bent light around them. Alien sensors could not see them. Alien eyes could not spot them. They were invisible death. "Remember," Taehoon said to his team, "we are not here to fight. We are here to spread fear." The team entered the alien ship through a maintenance port. They moved through the hallways like shadows. Alien crew members walked past them without knowing humans were there. In the engine room, they placed small bombs. In the weapon systems, they inserted computer viruses. In the life support area, they changed the air mixture to make aliens sleepy and confused. Then they left. The aliens never knew they had been there until things started going wrong. The ship's engines stopped working. The weapons would not fire. The crew got sick from bad air. Panic spread through the vessel. "What is happening?" demanded the ship's captain. "Unknown, sir. All systems are failing at once." "Check for sabotage." "We have checked, sir. No signs of entry." No damage to the hull, no alien life forms detected. Then how? Nobody could answer. It was impossible, but it kept happening. More and more Veltari ships suffered mysterious failures. Crews started whispering about ghosts, about invisible demons, about the silent death. The rumors spread to other alien species. The Zephoni had been slaves of the Veltari for 300 years. They had given up hope of freedom long ago. But now they heard stories. A small species called humans was making the mighty Veltari look weak. If humans could fight the Empire, maybe others could too. Zephoni leaders met in secret. Is it true? Asked Elder Noxim. Are the humans really winning? Not winning, said another elder, but not losing either. They have survived 6 months of total war against the Empire. How is that possible? They fight differently. They do not follow the rules of war. They make their own rules. On the Zephani homeworld, young rebels started painting human symbols on walls. The image of Earth appeared in forbidden places. It became a sign of hope. The same thing happened on dozens of other worlds. Species that had been conquered long ago started to remember what freedom felt like. Back in Veltari space, Admiral Vextel received reports from across the Empire. Rebellions were starting. Trade routes were being attacked. Entire systems were refusing to pay tribute. How did this happen? He asked the High Command. The humans, said Supreme Admiral Kexter. They are inspiring others to rebel. They are just one small species. One small species that refuses to die. Other races see this. They think if humans can fight us, maybe they can too. Then we crush the humans completely. We make an example of them. We have been trying to crush them for 6 months. They only get stronger. This was true. Human forces now controlled 12 star systems. They had built bases on 30 worlds. Their fleet had grown from 50 ships to 5,000 ships. More importantly, they had allies. 3 other species had joined the human alliance. The insectoid Krithai brought their swarming tactics. The plant-like Greel shared their biotechnology. The energy beings called Lux provided advanced shields. Sir, said Communications Officer Wujin to Admiral Doyon. Message from the Veltari High Command. Let me hear it. The message was short. Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick. Doyon laughed. It was not a nice laugh. 6 months of war had changed him. He had seen friends die. He had made hard choices. He had learned to think like the enemy. Send them our reply, he said. What should I tell them? Tell them we have a rougher they can surrender to us. We will let them live on one small planet under our protection. Wujin stared at him. Sir, are you serious? Dead serious. The Veltari Empire is finished. They just do not know it yet. Across the galaxy, other species were starting to believe it too. The impossible was happening. Humans were not just surviving the war. They were winning it. The Veltari had ruled through fear for 800 years. But fear only works if people believe you cannot be beaten. Humans had proven the Veltari could be beaten. And once that fear was broken, it could never be repaired. The nightmare was just beginning. For the Veltari Empire. 1 year after the war began, the galaxy looked different. The Veltari Empire still controlled most star systems, but their grip was weakening. Rebellion was spreading like fire. Yuna had been Earth's top diplomat before the war. Now she traveled from world to world, meeting with rebel leaders. Her job was to turn fear into hope, and hope into action. Welcome to the Terran Alliance, she said to a group of Zephani leaders. They met in secret on a mining station in deep space. Elder Noxim looked nervous. If the Veltari find out we met with you, they will kill our entire species. They are already killing your species, Yuna said softly. Slowly. Through slavery and oppression, we offer you a chance to die fighting for freedom instead of living as slaves. What can we do? We have no weapons, no warships, no military. You have something more valuable. You have anger. And you have knowledge of Veltari systems. Yuna showed them a holographic map of the galaxy. Red areas showed Veltari control. Blue areas showed human territory. But now there were green spots scattered everywhere. Those were rebellion zones. Every green dot is a species that chose to fight, she said. The Krithai swarmed their supply ships. The Greel used biological weapons against their bases. The Lux blind their senses. What about humans? What do humans do? Yuna smiled. Humans do whatever it takes to win. She was right. Human tactics had evolved far beyond what anyone expected. They used psychological warfare. They spread propaganda. They turned alien technology against its creators. Most importantly, they never fought fair. Admiral Doyon stood on the bridge of his flagship, the UA's Defiance. Through the windows he could see the Veltari fortress world of Quetzalcoatl. It was supposed to be impregnable. Massive defense platforms surrounded it. Thousands of ships protected it. Sir, said Navigator Mina, the fleet is in position. All ships, human ships, Krithai swarms, Greel biovessels and Lux energy forms. Everyone is ready. Good begin Operation Shatter. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Not because of its size, but because of its strategy. The humans did not attack the fortress directly. Instead, they attacked the planet's 3 moons. Each moon was a military base. But they were also connected to the main planet by gravity generators. When the moons exploded, the gravity generators failed. The planet's orbit became unstable. Massive earthquakes shook the surface. The oceans boiled. The atmosphere caught fire. The Veltari had a choice. They could stay and die with their fortress world, or they could abandon it to save their lives. They abandoned it for the first time in Empire history. The Veltari retreated from a major world without being defeated in battle. They ran because humans had made the planet uninhabitable, demanded Supreme Admiral Kexter. How did they destroy an entire world? They did not destroy it, said Admiral Vextel. They made it kill itself. They turned the planet's own defenses against it. That is impossible. Humans make impossible things happen. That is what makes them so dangerous. The news spread across the galaxy in days. The mighty fortress of Kethsakan was gone. The Veltari Empire had lost a core world to a species they had dismissed as primitive. Rebellions exploded on 50 worlds at once. The Zephani rose up on their homeworld. They had no weapons, so they used tools. Mining equipment became weapons. Construction robots became war machines. Civilian ships became bombers. The Krithai swarmed Veltari outposts. Millions of insect warriors attacked at once. They died by the thousands, but there were always more. They overwhelmed alien defenses through sheer numbers. The Grial released biological weapons that ate Veltari technology. Their ships dissolved. Their weapons turned to mush. Their armor fell apart. The Lux energy beings simply shut down Veltari power systems. Entire fleets went dark. Bases lost life support. Cities lost electricity. But it was the humans who scared the Veltari most, because humans used all these tactics and more. They adapted. They learned. They got better at war every day. Minji was a xenobiologist who studied alien species. She had spent months analyzing Veltari behavior. Finally, she found their weakness. They cannot adapt, she told Admiral Doyon. Their society is built on rigid hierarchy. They follow orders without question. They never change their tactics. And that is bad because humans change tactics every day. We adapt to every situation. We learn from every battle. They fight the same way they fought 800 years ago. So we stay unpredictable. More than that, we become chaos. We make every battle different. We force them to make decisions their rigid minds cannot handle. This became the new human strategy. Every battle was fought differently. Sometimes humans used massive fleets. Sometimes they used single ships. Sometimes they used no ships at all. Just soldiers and spacesuits. The Veltari never knew what to expect. Their commanders went insane trying to plan for every possibility. On the Veltari homeworld, Emperor Zex Magnus called an emergency session of the High Council. He was old. Even by Veltari standards, he had ruled for 300 years. He had never faced a crisis like this. How many systems have we lost? He asked. 47 confirmed, said Supreme Admiral Kexter. Maybe more. Communications are breaking down. How many species are in open rebellion? 23. How did this happen? We were winning this war. We thought we were winning, said Admiral Vexdal. But humans do not fight to win battles. They fight to change the galaxy. What does that mean? It means they never plan to beat us in straight combat. They plan to inspire others to join them. Every battle they survived made other species braver. Emperor Zex Magnus stared at the tactical display. Red zones were shrinking. Green zones were growing. Blue zones were spreading. What do you recommend? Total war, said Kexter. Destroy every rebel world. Kill every human. Show the galaxy what happens when someone challenges us. Can we do that? We still have the largest fleet in the galaxy. We still control the core worlds. If we strike fast and hard, we can end this. Do it, but it was too late. The Veltari Empire was already dying. Not from military defeat, but from something worse. Loss of fear. For 800 years, other species had been afraid of the Veltari. That fear had been their greatest weapon. It made enemies surrender without fighting. It kept rebellions small and scattered. Humans had destroyed that fear. They had shown the galaxy that the Veltari could be hurt, could be beaten, could be made to run away. Once fear was gone, it could never come back. The galactic shift had begun. The age of the Veltari Empire was ending. The age of the Terran Alliance was about to begin. For years after the war began, it was over. Not because of a great final battle, but because the Veltari Empire simply collapsed. Admiral Doyon stood on the observation deck of his flagship. Below him was the planet Kethmura, the former capital of the Veltari Empire. Smoke rose from burning cities, not from human weapons, but from civil war. The Veltari were fighting each other now. Some wanted to keep fighting humans, others wanted to surrender. Most just wanted to survive. Sir, said Communications Officer Wujin. Message from Emperor Zex Magnus, the same emperor who wanted to destroy humanity. Yes, sir. He is requesting terms for surrender. Doyon almost laughed. 4 years ago, the Veltari had demanded human surrender. They had threatened to destroy Earth. Now their emperor was begging for mercy. What does he offer? Asked Doyon. Complete withdrawal from all contested systems, recognition of the Terran Alliance, payment of war damages. And what does he want in return? Safety for his species, permission to keep their homeworld. Doyon thought about it. He could refuse, he could demand total surrender. He could make the Veltari suffer like they had, that made other species suffer for 800 years. But that would make humans no better than the empire they had fought. Tell him we accept, Doyon said, but with conditions. What conditions? All slave species must be freed immediately. All weapons of mass destruction must be destroyed. The Veltari military is limited to defense forces only, and they must pay to rebuild the worlds they damaged. Sir, said Navigator Mina, that will bankrupt their empire. Good empires should not exist. On Earth, President Sun Wu faced a different problem. How do you govern a galaxy? The Terran Alliance now controlled over 200 star systems. 50 different species looked to humanity for leadership. They expected humans to replace the Veltari Empire. We cannot rule the galaxy, Sun Wu told her advisors. We do not have enough people. We do not understand alien cultures. We would become tyrants just like the Veltari. Then what do we do? Asked General Jiwu. We create something new. Not an empire, a federation. Every species governs itself. We just keep the peace. This became the foundation of the Galactic Federation. Each species kept their homeworlds and colonies, but they all agreed to basic rules. No slavery, no genocide, no wars of conquest. Humans became the peacekeepers, not because they were the strongest, but because other species trusted them. Humans had fought for freedom, not conquest. They had liberated worlds instead of enslaving them. Secretary General Jisu was chosen to lead the new federation. She was young for such responsibility, only 35 years old, but she had grown up during the war. She understood what freedom cost. We are not here to rule you, she told the First Galactic Assembly. Representatives from 100 species listened. We are here to serve you, to protect the peace we fought so hard to win. But peace was not easy to keep. Some Veltari refused to accept defeat. They formed terrorist groups. They attacked Federation ships. They tried to restart the old empire. Some liberation movements went too far. They wanted revenge against their former oppressors. They committed atrocities in the name of justice. Some species wanted to create empires of their own. They thought the fall of the Veltari left a power vacuum they could fill. All of these problems came to the Federation peacekeepers, which meant they came to humans. Taehun now led the Federation Special Forces. His job was to handle problems that normal diplomacy could not solve: terrorists, war criminals, pirates. New mission, he told his team. They were no longer called the Silent Death. Now they were the Guardians, but they were just as deadly. Where? Asked his second-in-command. The Rigel system. Veltari extremists have taken hostages on a civilian. Stationed 300 beings from 12 different species. Demands. They want the Federation to restore the Veltari Empire in exchange for the hostages. Not going to happen. No. So we go in and get the hostages out. This was the new reality. Humans had won the war, but they could not stop fighting. Someone had to keep the peace. Someone had to protect the innocent. Someone had to make sure the galaxy never went back to the old ways. That someone was humanity. Wu Jin now worked for Federation intelligence. His job was to watch for threats to galactic peace. He monitored communications across hundreds of worlds. He tracked the movement of ships and people. Admiral, he said to Doyon, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Long-range sensors have detected a large fleet moving toward Federation space. Unknown configuration. Unknown origin. Doyon studied the sensor data. The ships were massive, bigger than anything the Veltari had built, and there were thousands of them. How long until they reach our territory? 6 months, maybe less. Any attempt at communication? None. They ignore all our signals, Doyon sighed. He was 50 years old now. His hair was gray. His face was scarred from 4 years of war. He had hoped to retire soon, to go home to Earth and rest. But the galaxy would not let him rest. Send a message to all Federation fleets, he said. Prepare for possible conflict, and send a message to Earth. Tell them we may need the old alliance. Again, you think it is another war. I hope not, but humans have a saying. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. The message reached Earth in 3 days. President Sun Wu was older now too. She had led humanity through the greatest war in galactic history. She had hoped never to see another one. But the sensors did not lie. Something big was coming toward Federation space. Something that might be even more dangerous than the Veltari Empire had been. How do we prepare for an unknown enemy? She asked General Ji. The same way we prepared for the Veltari. We adapt, we improvise, we refuse to give up. And if they are stronger than us, then we make them pay for every victory. We show them that attacking humans is the most expensive mistake they can make. Across the galaxy, the word spread. Humans were preparing for war again. The species that had destroyed the Veltari Empire was getting ready to fight another enemy. Some people were scared. Some were excited. All of them were grateful that humans were on their side. This time Admiral Doyon stood on his bridge and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, an unknown enemy was approaching. They probably thought the galaxy would be easy to conquer. After all, the great Veltari Empire was gone. What could possibly stop them? They were about to find out. They were about to learn what every aggressor eventually learned. There was one species in the galaxy you did not want to fight, one species that turned every war into a nightmare for their enemies. Humans, and humans were ready. Let them come.